Let's see what else we've got. In the past, before the arising of the new ordination process at Padmaloka, people were advised not to ask for ordination unless, underlined, they felt they were quite close to readiness for ordination. At present, people seem to ask for ordination at a much earlier stage, when they actually know that they will need quite a few years to get ready. Are you happy with this development, or would you prefer that people wait with asking for ordination until they are quite close to being ready? I think it's quite difficult to generalize, because asking for ordination is a quite individual sort of matter. But nevertheless, I think I understand the concern behind the question. Because yes, it's true that people do seem to ask for ordination at an earlier stage than before. And I think it may be that this has gone a little to the extreme. I don't know whether this applies here in Germany, but I think it applies in England. That, as you know, there are these going for refuge groups. It is a human tendency not to like to be, as it were, excluded from anything. Yeah? So sometimes mitras come to know that these going for refuge groups are being held, and that you can't join these rather esoteric groups unless you asked for ordination. So sometimes I have found it may happen that people ask for ordination not so much because they really do want to be ordained, though yes, in a way they do want to be ordained, of course, but because they want to gain admission to the going for refuge group. So I think this tendency needs to be watched rather carefully, and I think one should be, well, as it were, reasonably confident that one really does want to be ordained and doesn't see it as being perhaps in the too far distant future. So obviously, again, as I said, it is very much an individual matter. I don't think people should ever be, or very rarely should ever be, encouraged to ask for ordination. Some time ago, someone asked me whether I encouraged mitras to ask for ordination. And I said, just to be a bit provocative, no, I discouraged them. Because if you can be discouraged, it means that your desire is not very strong. Yeah. So, and you know that in Japan in the old days we're told that candidates for admission to a monastery used to have to kneel outside in the snow for many, many days, and they'd be refused. Well, several times. So it shouldn't, as it were, be made too easy. Yeah? I'd say, well, yes, discourage people in a way, rather than just encourage, say, well, it's not easier to be an order member, we have a pretty tough time. It requires real grit, real determination, a real combination of qualities. It's a man's job. Oh, sorry, a woman's job too, of course.
It's a person's job.
A person's job, yes. It's only for persons, with capital P's, yeah? So, I think if there is any tendency among mitras to ask for ordination in too facile a manner, that should be, what should I say, positively, discouraged, but in a positive manner. In saying, well, think about it a bit more. Are you really sure that this is what you really want to do? It's not necessarily that someone is dead sure that they are ready. It's more that, make sure that they have this, what I call a reasonable confidence that, they can really see themselves being ordained, say, within the next 4 or 5 years. But not just, ask for ordination because you want to join the pre-ordination group, or because you see all your friends doing it and you think you might as well do it too and not get left out or left behind. It is a very serious matter. I mean, at the same time, if someone really is convinced that he really does want to be ordained, that's definitely what he wants, well, even if he's only just started coming along, well, let him ask. If he wants to jump in at the deep end, let him jump. He'll soon find out how deep it is, if he didn't know before.